Welcome to the D&D campaign, War of the Gods. We start our adventure in Campus Port, a busy logistics hub that helps feed the rest of Aurelia. Fresh off the boat, we find our heroes. Durzo, the enigmatic and elusive rogue. Ulrich, the righteous and holy paladin. Nate, the troublesome and mischievous pirate. And finally, Lyriel, our quiet yet dangerous bard. Also Lan, but he's lame and dead. Session 1. The team finds a rich and powerful land baron. James Moorcroft, who has had his belongings and home taken by a doppelganger. The team agrees to help him. Also, they deduce he is a doppelganger, but they still want to help him. He is in their debt, but they all know he's a doppelganger. Nate gave his name to Frostwarden Inquisitor Alaric Voss and told him to investigate James Moorcroft. Alaric Voss will investigate James Moorcroft. When his investigations are complete, Alaric expects Nate to be at the posh, expensive tavern. Off-screen, Voss forces his way into the manor, finds the tied and tortured real James Moorcroft, and agrees to return him to his rightful position if he stalks the team for a while. Alaric Voss imprisons the doppelganger. The team meets Cassandra, a charity worker helping Enimat addicts. If the team meet her again, she will visit Ulrich and Lan at night and reveal herself as a member of the Ashen Brotherhood. The team is on their way to the governor's manor to ask about Enimat drug supplies. Session 2. The team makes their way out of Campus Port and towards Moorcroft Manor, but on their way encounters Farmer John, who asks them to investigate his disappeared animals. Spider things were taking animals and eating them. Lyriel and Durzo stealthily killed them and the Spider Queen. They brought back Farmer John's animals, but had to slaughter the cows due to spider eggs being inside them. That night, Cassandra breaks into Durzo's bedroom and invites the team to the Ashen Brotherhood on the condition they prove themselves. She gives them a quest: deal with Alaric Voss. Yet his whereabouts are currently unknown to the team. The team then travels north to find Alaric Voss, and is ambushed by a pack of what appear to be wild boars. Yet on closer inspection, they were trained by a party of nearby goblins. The team prepares to fight the goblin camp. Session 3. Having traveled north of Campus Port to deal with a goblin camp, a battle ensues. Goblin mage Gobril was killed. Goblin brother Borgin was also slain. Goblin Gobgin, youngest brother to Borgin and Gobril, survived. He'll be back. Durzo, Lyriel, and Nate went to the Campus Port sewers and found some smugglers smuggling Enimat. Lazy-eyed Larry Lumps knows Lyriel from their time within various smuggling circles. Nate attempts to distract and flirt with a smuggler guarding the main cargo. Nate attempted to push the smuggler into the sewer water and fails. The smuggler attempts to grapple Nate in response, but also fails. Nate then successfully lies to the smuggler about his intent. The DM thinks this is very lame. Session 4. The team is still in the sewers. They find their way into what appears to be a long-since abandoned part of the sewers, sealed off with wards and piles of rubble. After removing the barriers, the team finds themselves within a temple to Nyx-Ara, the Veiled Shadow. She is the god of death, shadow, and secrets. The team interrogates some of Nyx-Ara's acolytes. The team finds out Nyx-Ara and Auril were allied originally to overthrow Agni. Durzo pledges himself and becomes marked by Nyx-Ara. Nyx-Ara tells Durzo about his sister Alara. Nyx-Ara is holding Alara in her shadow realm. She may be returned to Durzo one day, should he prove himself. The team leaves Nyx-Ara's temple and camps just outside. Session 5. The team made their way into a drug-smuggling den, killed the guards, and tortured the drug-making alchemists. Enimat manufacturing has now almost entirely halted in Campus Port. Nate murdered several people in cold blood. This becomes a common occurrence and a character-defining trait. The team found Grub and his magical box. Nate tried to take his magical box. The team chased Grub, exposing Grub's secret tunnel systems, but they didn't find Grub's secret treasure room. The team made their way through a maze with traps and such to find stones of communication, a series of stones that allow the users to communicate amongst themselves by saying up to 20 words, and then allowing the others to respond with up to 20 words too. Nate has 2 of these stones. Session 6. The team finds some barrels of oil and forces Ulrich to carry them as he is the strongest. The team finds a broken old cart and attempts to repair it. After a while, the team is able to put 2 barrels of oil into the cart. The team fannied about with the cart for the next hour. The team then sets up an ambush and lures Frostwood and Inquisitor Alaric Voss into it. His 2 subordinates are killed immediately, and Alaric Voss is knocked prone before the team finishes him off. The team celebrates and goes back to the Ashen Brotherhood underground shrine. Agni reveals himself. Ulrich is marked. Auril is marked. The Ashen Brotherhood asks the team to travel to Muttonham, a market town about 4 days north of Campus Port, to ascertain why the Ashen Brotherhood there has stopped communicating with Campus Port. Session 7. Having now killed Alaric Voss, the team leaves Campus Port for Muttonham. On their way, they find a suspect-looking river crossing. As they are crossing the bridge, a sea hag and various fish people accost the team. Nate is marked by the sea hag and is now forced into becoming Blibdoolpoolp's follower, although he actually loves being marked by a mad sea god. The team finds some boats. Thanks to Nate's mark, he allows the team to water walk down the river. Ulrich is forced to fanny about with the carts, barrels, and boats. This becomes a character-defining trait for Ulrich. Finally, Ulrich puts the cart with the 2 barrels of oil onto the boat. The team finds some ancient Blibdool prelated ruins. The team stumbles upon Gobgin, the one remaining goblin that got away in Session 3. The team camps in the ruins for the night. In the morning, the team ventures into the ruins' underground level. Traps, wall walking, and much silliness ensue. Nate walks into a room where a sermon to the Mad Sea Mother is taking place. Led by a fishman called Toe, a fishman called I is the leader of the temple. He takes Nate to a secret back room. Blibdoolpoolp, the Mad Sea Mother, reveals herself to Nate and the team. Nate receives his magic 8-ball conch shell. The rest of the team receives their custom magic items. DM note: it seemed appropriate at the time. I didn't want anyone to feel left out. Nate receives a magic 8-ball conch shell. Auril receives a smuggler's whistle, which can summon grub. Ulrich receives a pair of branding gloves from Agni. Durzo receives a locket of his stolen sister, Ilara. The team camped where they killed Govgin. Session 8. Han Jajman, a strange merchant with a strange traveling shop, sells odd and barely cursed items. He was also selling various types of mystery meat sandwiches. He was accompanied by his various guards, Spog and Spig and Biff and Boff. The team successfully intimidates their way into a game of 21s, where you roll a 20-sided die and see who gets closest to 21. The team wins and essentially leaves the guards bankrupt, as the team were intimidating the guards to increase the stakes. The team then stumbles upon Han Jajman's human butchery, where he still holds some people alive he was planning to make into sandwiches. The team breaks out Grandfar Bolmore, who offers them a reward back at his house in Muttonham. The team never follows up on this reward. The team ignores a gnome they see running across the road. Session 9. Ulrich takes a vow of silence due to being away for this session. The team arrives in Muttonham, and Nate immediately tries to burn down the Muttonham church to Auril. He gets caught and only just evades being hit by a large and powerful cone of cold. Auril spits on Auril's shrine, causing a giant ice wraith to almost kill him. Due to this, the church is now on high alert. Wanted posters are posted everywhere. The team stumbles across a hostel, and it turns out it was the Ashen Brotherhood Muttonham chapter. Karen, usurper of the Ashen Brotherhood Muttonham chapter, attempts to torture Nate. The team breaks into the interrogation chamber and proceeds to kill both Karen and her lover and bodyguard Kyle. During the battle, Nate almost kills Ulrich due to conch powers. The team discovers Burrowchalk the turtle in the sewers and listens to him drone on about his mega-boring, mega-mundane life. He used to be a homeless person, but due to the potion shop pouring their waste down the drain, he was transformed into a giant turtle, who can no longer leave the dungeon at all. The team rescues Bjorga from blob monsters. A blob monster rapes Nate. This will not be the last time Nate is molested non-consensually. Session 10. Ulrich immediately breaks his vow of silence after his long rest and takes a bunch of damage as Agni is not pleased. The team breaks into Muttonham Prison. The team proceeds to rescue Sir Jared of Blamsfield and his associate, Udja. Unfortunately, the team is seen exiting Muttonham Prison, which puts the prison on high alert. Auril has now been seen for the second time by Frost Wardens. The team escorts Sir Jared back to the Muttonham chapter of the Ashen Brotherhood. They then discuss future plans and what the aims are. Various options are floated. 1. Establish or re-establish more Ashen Brotherhood chapters across Aurelia. 2. Blow up Auril churches. 3. Travel to Fireholm to establish a main HQ for the Ashen Brotherhood. 4. Train an army. 5. Rise up. 6. Kill Auril. The team manages to eavesdrop on some Muttonham town guards. The team finally finds out you can just visit people in prison on their visiting days. Martin, one of the guards of a shady smuggling operation, has a son in prison, Martin Jr. The team plans to scope it out next session. Also, Auril and Ulrich complete the Stuck Ship quest, whereby they are both introduced to the god of time, Kronos. They also inadvertently discover a powerful artifact from Kronos, a grandfather clock that stops time for unaligned living creatures within 40 feet. Session 11. Ulrich and Auril are still on the Stinky Binky. It's a ship where they found the grandfather clock, a powerful artifact of Kronos. They use the stones of communication to tell Nate where to meet them. The team attempts to convince the smugglers to give them the clock. They almost create a mutiny against the captain just to spite him, but ultimately fail. The team gives up attempting to get Kronos's clock, for now anyway. The team asks the guards at the outer checkpoint of the prison what time and day visitation is allowed. The team goes to sleep at the inn and pays their tabs plus another week. The team wakes up and arrives at the prison at about 10 past 8 in the morning. The team scouts the prison, visits Martin Jr., and is told to put their weapons away in their bag of holding. The team interrogates Martin Jr. and offers to draw him tentacle porn of an elf for some reason. The team scouts out the prison a bit, but doesn't really go far, and gives up after making fun of Martin Jr. The team proceeds to murder Warden Stephen Highflag and explodes his body. Of course, it was Nate who exploded his body. The team finds a skeleton key for the prison, which they immediately forget about. They find the armory, and they find 800 gold. Nate then impersonates the warden and leaves the prison disguised as the warden. Auril has a disguise kit on. Ulrich is just Ulrich. Durzo is on a mission or something, because he's been away in Japan for the last 2 sessions. Session 12. The team attends an auction. Chaos ensues. The team buys lots of knickknacks and such, some useless, some not so much. The team keeps interrupting the auctioneer. The auctioneer is very annoyed that they keep having conversations during the auction. Shouting across the room, Nate often asks, "Team, should we buy this one?" Then, if Nate does not like the answer, he will spam ski yup, as if it's a skippable cutscene. It is not. The team bids on explosives and has a conversation about how they don't have an explosives license during the bidding process, but it is required to have one in order to receive the explosives. The team then faffs about with a fake explosives license before finally receiving their goods, and then they make their way to the Muttonham Church. The team blows up Muttonham Church. Session 13. After blowing up the Muttonham Church of Auril, the team consults Sir Jared of Blamsfield, who tells them that Ashen Brotherhood contacts in the capital, Urbis Fortis, have witnessed a mobilization. likely in an attempt to once again subdue Muttenham. The team is tasked with finding allies in the Druidic Coven to the northwest of Muttenham. Once they have located the Druidic Coven, the Coven tells them of a series of powerful but disabled beings who can merge into a massive weapon of war. The Johns: Tron, Tree John, who is blind; Bon, Bone John, who is mute; Juan, Water John, who is deaf. The team finds all three Johns, who then show their true power by combining into Mega John. Once combined, Mega John has no disabilities and has many abilities. After they have confirmed Mega John will help them in the coming battle, the team spots a gnome running across the forest. This time the team's curiosity gets the better of them, and they follow it. It seems to disappear down a deep, wide hole in the ground. The team cautiously follows.